afternoon, guys. Okay, so let's talk about spore prints and spore syringes and how to make them. Okay, so when your mushrooms start to look like that one in the center where the cap is spread and you can see the gills, it's time to make prints. And then from the prints, we're going to make spore syringes. So what you're going to do first is you're going to take your mason jars and you want to scrape that little rubber edge off of them first. Flip the lid upside down. You want to make sure they're warm before you stick them in there, but you're going to bake them at 400 degrees for an hour to sterilize them. And then you're going to let them set a day or so to cool down. Okay, once they've cooled down, you're going to go to where your mushrooms are. You're going to take a paper clip and you're going to have a little dish there with rubbing alcohol in it. You're going to dip it in that dish and then you're going to light that rubbing alcohol on fire. You're going to stick that paper clip. You're going to unfold the paper clip so that it's, you got a pointy thing. You're going to take a pair of scissors, a pair of really sharp scissors. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to dip them in there. You're going to hold them on that fire till it's red hot. You're going to stab that paper clip into the top of that mushroom. And then you're going to take the scissors and you're going to snip right on the bottom side of that gill. The closer up into the gills you can get, the best. Okay, and then with that paper clip, you're going to transfer that cap into that jar and then put the lid back on. You're going to have it gills facing down. Okay, and in about a day or so, those gills are going to deposit spores all over the floor of that jar. They're going to be purple spores all over the floor of that jar. Okay, once you've got 2 or 3 good spore prints in there, you're going to pull that mushroom out. You want to expose the inside of that jar to as little outside oxygen and outside air as possible. If possible, you want to spray your room down with Lysol first. Okay, so you got these spore prints in the jar. Then what are you going to do with them? Well, you're going to get a 10 cc or more big ass animal syringe, preferably with a blunt joint, a blunt tip on it. Maybe you get a woodworking one, whatever you get. You want around 10 cc's. You're going to take boiling water. You're going to suck boiling water up into that and squirt it back in the water 10 times. And on the 10th time, you leave it full. Then you're going to wrap that syringe in foil and you're going to boil it. You got to have a big ass pot. You're going to boil it for about an hour. Okay, and you're going to do that to sterilize that water. Preferably, you're going to use like water that's already pre-distilled so it doesn't have all kinds of weird minerals and shit in it. Okay, so then once that's cooled down and those spore prints have dried for a couple days, you're going to get your little alcohol thing out again and you're going to stick the tip of that syringe in the alcohol and then light it on fire until that needle glows red hot. And then you'll squirt some of the water up in there to cool it down, and with the tip of that needle you're going to go inside that jar. You're going to scrape them spores, okay? And then you're going to squirt a little bit of that water out into that bottom of that jar to get them spores wet, and then suck it back up into that needle. You don't want to suck any air. If you have to leave some of the water down in there to not get air in your needle, do that, because you're going to have tons of spores in there. Just a little bit of spore in there is going to be plenty. And now you've got yourself a loaded spore syringe. What are you going to do with it? Well, you could turn around and do what I did and what I told you in that popcorn tech video. Or there's other things you could do with it. Ask me about it and I'll tell you some more. FTF 030. I didn't get a very good picture of the one in the center. There you go.